my dear learners, for this course on heat transfer. In this module 1, we are discussing on introductory concepts in heat transfer and also one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction. Now, so far we have discussed general heat conduction equation in Cartesian coordinate and also in cylindrical coordinate, and we see one-dimensional analysis of plane wall and cylinder and also composite wall and composite cylinders. In today's lecture, we are ready to derive general expression for heat conduction in spherical coordinate system and also analyzing the composite spheres. Coming for the importance of general heat conduction equation in spherical coordinate system is that a very good example is watermelon. Let us consider system of interest which is of the form watermelon shape. Now we have to analyze this system of interest which is in watermelon shape. If I ask you to take an element of length dr at any distance r in the watermelon, without having two angles, you cannot take the slice of the watermelon. What I mean to say is that in a sphere, if I ask to take a slice, let us consider a watermelon, I am asking you to get me a slice of watermelon exactly at the center without having the skin. So if I ask like that, then you will cut in the vertical plane where theta varies from 0 to 90 degree, and also we will cut in horizontal plane where phi varies from 0 to 360 degree. So therefore we will cut it like this and also we will cut it like this horizontally. So now we will get a slice, we will give it to me. So therefore without specifying two angles theta and also phi, you cannot take the slice of an watermelon. So therefore, in order to address such problems, we want two angles which can be solved with the help of general heat conduction equation in spherical coordinate. Now let us consider an element of length dr at a distance of r. So where r varies in the vertical plane and the angle made by r is theta, which is varying from 0 to 90 degrees, which I have shown here. So now if I take a slice that theta varies from 0 to 90 degrees and the r varies in the vertical plane, and also if I want to take the slice in the horizontal plane, I will project the radius r which is in vertical plane, which is varying like this, r which is varying with an angle theta. If I project at any distance to the horizontal plane, and this length will be equal to r sin theta. This you already know. So where r sin theta is on horizontal plane, so this r sin theta varies with angle phi. So that is what I have indicated here. This is the projection of this r here. This length and this length are same. This is r. So we have projected it as r sin theta, where in the horizontal plane, which I have marked with the yellow chalk, we will be making an angle of phi. Now for this element in the vertical direction, the angle is d theta. In the vertical plane, the angle is d theta, whereas in the horizontal, the angle is d phi. Whereas the distance r is radius in the vertical plane, whereas in the horizontal plane, it is a projection, that is r sin theta. So therefore, in the horizontal plane, we have r sin theta d phi. In the vertical plane, we have r d theta. So hope the concept is clearly understood for you people. That is what we have indicated here. R varies in the vertical plane with an angle theta, whereas its projection is r sin theta, which varies with an angle of phi in the horizontal plane. Now let us consider this element separately for analysis. If you observe, this is the r direction, radial direction moving outward of the sphere. So in the r direction, we have considered the elemental length as dr. So this length is dr. We understood. Now in the phi direction, if I consider in the phi direction, I want this length. So this length is coming on the horizontal plane. On the horizontal plane, we have r sin theta as the radius and d phi is the angle. So using the formula S is equal to r theta, I can write this as r sin theta d phi. R sin theta d phi, very important. R sin theta d phi. Whereas in the vertical plane, it is the radius r varying with an angle of theta, hence it is r d theta. So therefore this length will become r d theta. Don't get confused with phi and theta. Theta varies in the vertical plane, whereas phi varies in the horizontal plane. With theta we have radius, with phi we have the projection of radius in the horizontal plane, that is r sin theta. So we have determined the elemental lengths of this elemental volume, that is dr, r d theta, r sin theta d phi. Now we know the volume, we know the cross section area perpendicular direction of heat flow, and also we know the length in the direction of heat flow in the all the three directions. Now employ the same procedure what you have employed to determine the general heat conduction equation in Cartesian as well as cylindrical coordinate. You are going to get the solution for spherical coordinate. That is, if I do heat balance for the system, if we do energy balance from figure B. If we do energy balance from figure B, we have the first term, net heat accumulated or conducted from all the three directions, from all the directions in the element per unit time plus we have heat generation in the element or volume per unit time. This must be equal to increase in internal energy, of the element per unit time plus work done by the element per unit time. Now let us consider this as term 1, this as term 2, this as term 3, and this as term 4. Now sum of first and second term is equal to sum of third and fourth term. Now if I solve, let us consider one by one. If I solve for term 1, that is for first term, if I consider net heat conducted or accumulated into the element along r direction per unit time, if I consider, so along r direction, what is entering? Along r direction QR is entering, what is leaving? QR plus DR is leaving. So entering is QR, leaving is Q of R plus DR. Now in addition we have the heat generation consideration, so therefore let us consider a uniform heat generation of Q dot watt per meter cube. So there is a uniform heat generation inside this volume which is Q dot watt per meter cube. Now coming for net heat conducted into the element along r direction per unit time, it is heat entering minus heat leaving. QR is conducted, QR plus DR is leaving. So therefore this can be written as, you people already know, QR minus dou QR by dou R. Length along r direction is dr, so therefore it is dou QR by dou R into dr. So we should take the rate of change along the direction. The rate of change along the direction of r is based on the thickness dr. So therefore we have taken the dou r dr. Now these two will get cancelled. This is equal to minus dou by dou r of. Now heat is conducted into the element, so therefore we should use Fourier law of conduction. Fourier law of conduction states that minus k along r direction into area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. Area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow is this area. So this area is given by r sin theta d phi into r d theta. That is r sin theta d phi into r d theta. R sin theta d phi into r d theta is the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow in r direction. So minus k a dou t by length. So length is dr in the r direction. It is dou r. So minus ka dou t by dou x. Now if I simplify, so we are solving with respect to r, so therefore keep r inside and take all other terms outside. So if I simplify, I will get minus of minus is plus, that is kr, we have sin theta d phi d theta, sin theta d phi d theta, sin theta d phi d theta into dr, don't miss this one, into dr of dou by dou r of r square dou t by dou r, r square dou t by dou r. Now I want to take the volume outside. So the volume is dr into r d theta into r sin theta d phi. So that is what we have done. We have throughout taken the volume common from LHS and RHS, and we are going to cancel it off in the final expression, which you have already seen in derivation of Cartesian coordinate and cylindrical coordinate. So I want to take volume common. So therefore I want to take volume common. So what I will do is that I will do taking volume common. So I left out with kr of, so here the r square is missing, hence I will write it as 1 by r square dou by dou r of r square dou t by dou r. Now I can take volume common, so I have divided by r square, therefore I can multiply r square now. So that is, we have dr r sin theta d phi into r d theta. So what I did is that I have multiplied and divided by r square, and I have taken volume common, where in which I have r square. So I split it for the length r sin theta d phi, I have taken 1 r, for r d theta I have taken 1 more r. So this is the heat accumulated along r direction. Now if you want to expand, you can expand this by doing the differentiation of UV rule, that is differentiation of first function differentiation of second plus second function differentiation of first. You will get r square dou square t by dou r square plus dou t by dou r, differentiation of r square is 2r. So you can write like that also, you are going to get two terms. So let us keep like this itself, because when I do 1D analysis, this will be very easier for me to solve. So let us keep like this itself. Next, moving ahead for other remaining two directions. If I move ahead for calculating in remaining two directions, so I end up with coming for heat conducted into the element along Next I will go with theta direction. If I go with theta direction, per unit time, if I consider, so along theta direction, theta is in vertical direction, so therefore entering is q of d theta, leaving is q of d plus theta plus d theta, so entering is q of theta minus we have q of theta plus d theta. So now you know how to write this. It is q theta minus dou q theta by length. So length in theta direction. Length in theta direction is r d theta. Length in theta direction is r d theta into length is r d theta. So the change is taking place over the length r d theta in the direction of theta. So we have taken the change in the length along the theta direction, that is r d theta, correct? So therefore cancel off these two. So now this can be written as minus dou by r dou theta of, now you know the value of q theta, that is minus k theta area in theta direction. Area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow in theta direction is this bottom area. The length of this bottom area is known to us. This is r sin theta d phi and this is dr. So area is r sin theta d phi into dr. Area into dou t by length. Length is r d theta into we have r d theta. Into we have r d theta. Write it properly. Into r d theta. Now, if I simplify by taking volume outside, so we are differentiating with respect to theta. Take theta term inside and remaining term common. So this is can be written as minus of minus is plus k theta by r. I am speaking about this r. K theta by r, and also we have one more r here. You can see. Let me take it out. It will become r square. It will become r square, and then we have. Let us try to take the volume common. So if I want to take the volume common, so we are differentiating with respect to theta. So therefore I should keep theta terms inside. Remaining terms I can take out. So if I take out the remaining terms except theta, we have r d phi dr into r d theta into dou by dou theta of the theta term is sin theta. We have into dou by dou theta is what we have. So now throughout I want to take volume common. So throughout if I want to take volume common, what is missing here is sin theta. So r sin theta d phi is what I want. So therefore if I take throughout volume common, I can write it as k theta by r square dou by dou theta. So I want volume to be taken as common throughout. So therefore I will write it like this. What is missing? Sin theta is missing. So therefore multiply and divide by sin theta. So I get it as 1 by r square sin theta times dou by dou theta of sin theta dou t by dou theta into, now I can write the volume as dr r sin theta d phi into r d theta. We have 2r d phi d theta dr. So I multiplied and divided by sin theta. Correct. So now similarly if I do heat conducted into the element along phi direction if I solve per unit time, if I do this, we are entering this q phi, giving this q of phi plus d phi. So this can be written as q phi minus q phi minus dou q phi by length. The change is over the length along the phi direction, as phi direction varies in the horizontal plane. So therefore along the phi direction the length is r sin theta d phi. The length is r sin theta d phi. This is multiplied by r sin theta d phi. Therefore q phi will get cancelled. So this can be written as, this is equal to minus dou by r sin theta dou phi, r sin theta dou phi of q phi into r sin theta d phi. This is what we have. Now substitute for q phi. If I substitute for q phi and solve, I left out with minus k phi. Area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow in phi direction is this area, which is dr times r d theta. Dr times r d theta, I can take out dr times r d theta dou t by length. Length is again r sin theta d phi. So therefore directly I will get the volume outside. That is, we already have r sin theta d phi. The area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow is dr r d theta. So therefore dr r d theta r sin theta d phi can be throughout taken common, which gives us volume. So we are differentiating over the length. That is, I should write dou t by r sin theta dou phi. So dou t by r sin theta dou phi, I can again take r sin theta common. So if I take it, that I will get r square sin theta. So hence, if I simplify by substituting for q phi, I left out with k phi divided by r square sin square theta dou square t by dou phi square into the volume. Volume is dr r d theta into r sin theta d phi. R sin theta d phi. This is what I will get. So throughout I have taken volume common. This is what I will get. So now let me pause this video for a while so that you people can copy it down. Now if I add these three terms, I will get the net heat accumulated due to conduction from all the three directions per unit time. So we are done with first term. Next I will go for second, third and fourth. Thereby we can determine what is the general heat conduction equation in spherical coordinate. Now, if I substitute all the three terms, what we got, I will get the term 1, that is net heat conducted or accumulated into the element per unit time will be equal to sum of terms what we got in all the three directions. That is, from r direction we have kr by r square times dou by dou r of r square dou t by dou r. I will take volume outside throughout plus in phi direction or in theta direction, we had k theta by r square sin theta times we have dou by dou r of dou by dou theta of sin theta dou t by dou theta plus along phi direction we had k phi by r square sin square theta dou square t by dou phi square. So this is throughout multiplied by volume. So we know that volume is given by dr r d theta into r sin theta d phi. So you can cross verify that I have taken throughout the volume common and written the three terms what we got just now from r direction, theta direction and from phi direction. So now if I move for term 2, so if I move for term 2, heat generated in the element per unit time will be we have a uniform heat generation of q dot watt per meter cube. So I want it in watts, so therefore I should multiply volume. So therefore I will get the answer as q dot times volume. Volume is length dr r d theta into one more length is r sin theta d phi. R sin theta d phi. Now moving for the third term, that is increase in internal energy. If I go, so moving ahead for term 3, if I move for term 3, increase in internal energy of the element per unit time will be mCp dou T by dou T, where mass is density times volume. Volume is dr r d theta into r sin theta d phi. Density times volume is mass into Cp into dou T by dou T. So moving ahead for the last term, that is if I move for term 4, work done by the element is 0. So therefore we know all the 4 terms. So if I substitute to equation 1 from energy balance, we are substituting to equation 1 I will take throughout volume common, that is dr r d theta r sin theta d phi throughout common in first, second, and I will cancel it off with the common factor in LHS with the RHS. If I do so, I left out with kr by r square of dou by dou r square dou t by dou r is one term, plus we have k theta by r square sin theta dou by dou theta of sin theta dou t by dou theta plus k phi by r square sin square theta dou square t by dou phi square plus q dot is equal to rho Cp dou T by dou T. So now for homogeneous and isotropic material, I can take the value of thermal conductivity as constant. So therefore for homogeneous isentropic material, let me take thermal conductivity as constant, that is Kr is equal to K theta is equal to K phi are all equal to K. So I will take throughout K common and divide whole equation by K. So if I do that, I will get the final expression as 1 by r square dou by dou r of r square dou t by dou r is term 1 plus 1 by r square sin theta dou by dou theta of sin theta dou t by dou theta plus 1 by r square sin square theta dou square t by dou phi square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 by alpha dou t by dou t. Alpha is equal to thermal diffusivity, which is given by K by rho Ct, which we have already discussed. Now let me pause this video for a while so that the people can copy it down. Later we will extend this for, or by applying the conditions we will reduce this equation for one dimension heat conduction in steady state without internal heat generation for sphere. Now moving ahead, let us apply the conditions for the equations what we derived and analyze the heat transfer due to conduction in a sphere, that is one dimension heat conduction with steady state and no internal heat generation. No internal heat generation for sphere. So as it says, it is a one dimension heat conduction with steady state and no internal heat generation for sphere. So let us consider a sphere like this. So if I plot the radius and thickness, we can plot the radius and thickness like this. Let us take the radius R1 and radius R2. At radius R1, let us take the temperature T1. At radius R2, let us take the temperature T2. And let us consider this as the gradient over the thickness, where thickness is R2 minus R1. Now if I apply the conditions, it is one dimension. So therefore I will take the propagation of heat in the radial direction, that is in R direction. So therefore I neglect theta and phi terms. No internal heat generation. The second term will also be neglected. Steady state. So for steady state analysis, temperature is a function of space alone. It is independent of time. So therefore RHS will also become 0. So hence, applying the conditions of steady state, RHS is 0. No internal heat generation, second term is 0 and it is one dimension. So therefore theta and phi directions are neglected. Hence the equation reduces to 1 by r square d by dr r square dt by dr is equal to 0. So this is what we get as the governing differential equation by applying the conditions for the equations what we have derived. Now in order to obtain the temperature distribution, I should integrate this equation twice. So let us consider this as equation number 2, the basic equation as equation number 1. Now To obtain the temperature distribution, let us integrate equation 2. If I integrate equation 2 by sending r square to RHS, it will become 0. So integration and differentiation will get cancelled. I left out with r square dt by dr, which is equal to constant of integration C1. This is because of the reason it is indefinite integral. Now rearranging the terms, I will get dt is equal to C1 by r square dr. Again integrating this equation. Again, if I integrate, I will get the temperature T as integral of 1 by r square will become minus C1 by r, that is integral of x to the power of minus 2 is x to the power of minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1. So x to the power of minus 2 plus 1 is x to the power of minus 1 divided by minus 1. It is minus 1 by x. That is what we have. Minus C1 by r plus C2, the constant of integration. Now we have two constants C1 and C2. To determine the two constants, we have two boundary conditions. That is, for equation 3, substitute the boundary conditions. The boundary conditions are the first boundary condition is that at radius r is equal to r1, temperature T is T1. So therefore, if I substitute, I will get T1 is equal to minus C1 by R1 plus C2. Second, at R is equal to R2, we have temperature T is equal to T2, which yields us T2 is equal to minus C1 by R2 plus C2. Now solve these two equations for two unknowns C1 and C2. To determine that, let me take difference of T1 minus T2. So if I do so, I will get T1 minus T2 is equal to T1 minus T2 is equal to, I will take minus C1 common. If I take minus C1 common, I left out with 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 plus C2 minus C2 will get cancelled. So I will multiply, or let me keep the minus sign as it is, and if I simplify, I will get the value of C1 as C1 will be equal to, I will take the minus sign to left hand side, it will become T2 minus T1 divided by R2 minus R1 by R1 R2. R2 minus R1 by R1 R2. Now substitute the value of C1 in any one of these two equations to find the value of C2. Let me substitute in the first equation. So therefore, I will get the value of C2 as T1 plus C1 by R1. Let me take this as equation 4, this as equation 5, this is equation 4 minus 5, equation 4 minus equation 5 yields this. Now this is from equation 4. So substitute the value of C1 what you have calculated. So if I do that, I will get the value of C2 as T1 plus T2 minus T1 divided by R2 minus R1 into R1 into R1 R2. So this is what we got. Now we know the value of C1 and C2. From equation 3 I will get the temperature distribution. substituting in equation 3, we will get the temperature distribution as the temperature distribution will be T is equal to, we have minus C1, C1 is T2 minus T1 into R1 R2 divided by R2 minus R1 into 1 by R plus C2. C2 is T1 plus T2 minus T1 whole divided by R2 minus R1 into R1, numerator is multiplied by R1 R2. So this is the expression for temperature distribution. Now if I want to determine the rate of heat transfer, to calculate rate of heat transfer from Fourier law of conduction, we have Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dr evaluated at base, R is equal to R1. So now we know the temperature distribution, so therefore I will get the gradient dt by dr evaluated at R is equal to R1 will become, T1 is constant, it will become 0. This entire term has only R1 R2, therefore this will also will become 0. Only we have this term for R. So differentiation of this term is nothing but we have minus T2 minus T1 divided by R2 minus R1 into R1 R2 is constant. Differentiation of 1 by R is minus 1 by R square. Differentiation of 1 by R is minus 1 by R square, and we have area for a sphere is 4 pi R square. Now throughout evaluate this equation by substituting R is equal to R1 or keep it as R itself. Anyhow R square and this R square will get cancelled when you substitute. So therefore let me keep it as R and cancel it off, or if you want you can substitute it as 4 pi R1 square, this is R1 square, and cancel it off. Both gives the same answer. So therefore substituting the value of temperature gradient and area, you will get the rate of heat transfer as minus K 4 pi R square into temperature gradient will be minus of minus is plus, it is T2 minus T1 into R1 R2 divided by R2 minus R1 multiplied by R square. Cancelling of R square and R square, the final expression for rate of heat transfer will be, rearranging the terms, multiply this negative sign inside, will become T1 minus T2. So T1 minus T2 whole divided by, we left out with R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K R1 R2. 4 pi K R1 R2. So this is analogous to electrical circuits, where in electrical circuits we have current flow is equal to difference in voltage by electrical resistance. Here flow of heat is equal to temperature difference by thermal resistance, where the thermal resistance for heat conduction through a sphere is given by R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K R1 R2. Now let me pause this video for a while so that if people can copy it down, later we will solve for composite sphere. Now moving ahead to solve for composite spheres. Solving for composite spheres. Let us consider a composite sphere like this. Let us have a composite sphere like this, marking the radius at various points. We have the radius R1, radius R2 and radius R3. Let us know the temperature T1, T2 and T3 are the surface temperatures at various points. Let us take it as T2, T3 and T4. Let us consider the convective heat transfer inside and outside. Let us have convection. So where we know the convective heat transfer coefficient is H0, temperature is T5. Here the convective heat transfer coefficient is Hi, temperature is T1. Now for steady state heat transfer, we know that for steady state the rate of heat transfer is constant, that is Q1 to 2 will be equal to Q2 to 3, will be equal to Q3 to 4, will be equal to Q4 to 5, which is constant Q. Now if I write between the points 1 and 2, we know that Q1 to 2 is because of convective heat transfer, that is T1 minus T2 by thermal resistance due to convection is 1 by Hi Ai. So therefore we can find the value of T1 minus T2, which is given by Q1 to 2 into thermal resistance due to convection at inner surface, it is Hi Ai. Similarly, if I write the rate of heat transfer between points 2 and 3, I can write it as T2 minus T3 divided by thermal resistance due to conduction for a sphere, which we have derived just now, that is R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K R1 R2. Hence T2 minus T3 will be equal to Q2 to 3 into R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi K R1 R2. Now if I write the rate of heat transfer between 3 and 4, that is Q3 to 4, can be written as T3 minus T4 divided by R3 minus R2 divided by 4 pi K R3 R2. Hence the value of temperature difference T3 minus T4 is equal to Q3 to 4 into this resistance, that is R3 minus R2 divided by 4 pi K R2 R3. So finally we have rate of heat transfer between the surface 4 and 5, which is equal to T4 minus T5 divided by, we have heat transfer due to convection, hence convective resistance is H0 A0, hence the temperature difference T4 minus T5 will be Q4 to 5 into 1 by H0. Now we have calculated the temperature differences from point 1 to point 5. So now we can write the temperature difference T1 minus T5 as T1 minus T2 plus T2 minus T3 plus T3 minus T4 plus T4 minus T5. Now substituting for the values of temperature differences, this all the Q values is constant, which can be termed as Q, and taking throughout common as Q, I can write it as the the resistances as 1 by Hi Ai plus R2 minus R1 by 4 pi K R1 R2 plus R3 minus R2 by 4 pi K R2 R3 plus 1 by H0 A0. Let us call these resistances as R1, R2, R3 and R4. So hence I can write the rate of heat transfer for a composite sphere as T1 minus T5 divided by summation of resistances. So this is analogous to electrical circuit where current flow is equal to difference in voltage by electrical resistance, whereas in heat transfer flow of heat is equal to temperature difference by thermal resistance. Now by knowing the thermal resistance formulas for wall, for cylinder and for sphere, by using this general expression we can solve any problem on wall, sphere and also for cylinder by knowing the resistance for plane wall, resistance for cylinder, thermal resistance for sphere and convective resistance, that is 1 by HIAA, that is 1 by heat transfer coefficient due to convection times the area. So this completes our discussion on general heat conduction equation in spherical coordinate, and also we have studied about heat transfer in a sphere for one dimension analysis, and also we have studied for heat transfer through composite spheres. That's all from this lecture. Thank you.